Good morning, Believe Nation. Today's message is push through. Over to you, Mike Rashid.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
There's different types of people in this world, and one thing that we're all going to deal with is like difficulties in our task, trying to become successful. As good as things get, you got to have the same amount of bad that's going to try to impede your progress, whether it be people, whether it be the IRS, whether it be whatever. Something will rear its ugly head and try to block you. Now, a lot of people can't handle that shit. When you have a vision and something or someone throws a curveball, it hurts. It stings, right? It's like your baby, and now I can't put my baby out there like I want to do it. So it really throws people off. They get really negative. They make it depressed. They may want to stop. They may want to just go back to their 9 to 5. That's fine. It's not for everybody to push through. But for those who can push through, like he said, the difference between those who really succeed and those who don't are the ones who, when they're faced with whatever these difficulties are, they're like, fuck it, I'm going to keep pushing through. I'm going to keep pushing through because it sounds corny and cliche, but it's always sunshine after the rain. You know what I'm saying? Rain don't last that long. You got to know that, be aware of that. That's something you can take with you through everything in life. But in business, you cannot stop because things are not going right at the time, because it's going to happen. I've dealt with it. I'm sure I'll deal with it again at some point.
Starting a business is going to be one of the hardest things that you ever do in your life. Period. It just is. If you think starting a business is going to be easy, you are so disillusioned and you're setting yourself up for failure. You may have an easy idea. You may think it's so simple, but the execution of it, building up momentum, getting customers, getting this thing out there, adding value is hard. It's going to be one of the hardest thing, if not the hardest thing, that you ever do in your life. And it's totally worth it and it's totally rewarding. But I want to set up your expectations, because as fun as entrepreneurship is and how great it is to be your own boss and set your own hours and do something meaningful and have an impact and make way more money, like as awesome as that is, it's also a grind and a battle and constantly daily fighting, self-worth when your thing, your idea doesn't take off and doesn't work immediately. It's hard. When I was in the venture capital business, we'd often challenge the people coming to raise capital to give us 3 scenarios. Your realistic case scenario, your worst case scenario, and your best case scenario. If we give you $1 million for your company, give us the 3 scenarios. Best, realistic, worst case scenario. How does that money come back to us? What does that look like in the growth of your business? We would always only look at the worst case scenario and then imagine it's going to be worse than that. So like if we're not making money off of the worst case scenario, then forget about it. And if we're barely making money off the worst case scenario, then probably forget about it too, because it's likely going to be way worse than the worst case scenario. And entrepreneurs are optimistic, and it's great, and you need to be optimistic. And I think that's the only thing that kind of keeps you sane. When it's so crappy around you, when you're just fighting battles all day long, it's that optimism that gets you through. It's that passion for what you're doing that gets you through. It's the belief that something good is going to come from this when you're fighting in the trenches that gets you through all the garbage, all the crap of working, because otherwise you would quit and go do something else. The thing that gets you through is just the mad love for what you're doing, because then often at the start it doesn't make logical, practical sense. You continue doing it just because you love it. I look at this career that I built for myself and what I'm doing. One of my very first speaking engagements, my first one in Canada, was at the YMCA. And I went to this room and they had this free event that we were both promoting. They had an entrepreneurship program and I had, some people following me, and we promoted it. This free event, show up in this big room, and 3 people showed up. 3 people showed up to a free event where there was already an audience. And so you could look at that experience and say, well, if you can only get 3 people to show up for a free thing, how are you ever going to make this into a business? It doesn't make any sense. And when I first walked into the room and I saw 3 people, my heart sunk. I felt terrible. I felt worthless. I felt this was a big waste of time. Like, why did I spend all this time preparing all these slides and this presentation for so long for 3 people? And I quickly kind of just suppressed that to say, you know what, 3 people showed up, I already did the work, let's at least give some value to these 3 people. And it was amazing. Like it nourished my soul. It felt so good going through the content and watching these 3 people come alive and realize that they now had some hope, and they had a belief in themselves that they would go home and now hopefully bring this to their business and see a big change in their company and in their life. Like, that felt so good that I could gift that to them. And walking into that room initially, I'm thinking this can never be a business. And I'm thinking just from a practical point of view. And I'm walking out of that room at the end thinking, I have to find a way to keep going. Even if this never becomes a business, even if I never make money off of this, it was such a good high. Just knowing that I helped these people, that even if I can never find a way to make money off of this, I need to keep doing it because it fills me, it nourishes me. And it's because of that I kept going through all the garbage, through all the crap, through all the fights and battles and struggle to get to where I'm at now. The practice, the experience, the grind is because it fills me up. And I eventually found a way to make money. I found a way to make it become my career. And this is going to be the same thing for you. At the start, you have a business plan. But the business plan quickly falls apart as you start actually getting into business. You'll realize this. No matter how great a plan you have, what actually happens is nowhere close to the business plan, and you need to adjust. And every practical, logical, sane, safe reason in the world will tell you to stop. Like, this isn't working. You're putting time, you're putting money, you're putting energy into this thing, and it's not working. But the absolute love for the craft and what you're doing and how it makes you feel keeps pushing you in that direction to keep going. And if you do that enough, you keep pushing through enough, you keep loving what you're doing enough, you keep getting better, you'll find a way to add value to the point where you're actually helping customers and you can turn it into a business. Most people don't have the love to push through all the crap to turn their dream into something amazing. So I'm challenging you to do it today with yours. So the question today is, I'm curious, what's the hardest thing you've had to push through in your business? Leave it in the comments below. We're going to join in the discussion. I also want to give a quick shout out to Sean Terry. Sean, thank you so much for picking up a copy of my book, Your One Word. It really, really, really means a lot to me, and I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning for another shot of espresso.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.
Hey Believe Nation, thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about this subject, get a little bit deeper on it, I'm going to share some extra bonus clips that I hope you'll enjoy.
I know it took you 6 years to write Hamilton, but I know we, like, as teenagers, like, if we're writing an essay, we, like, and we have trouble, we're like, oh my God, I just want to give up. Did you ever feel like that? Like,
all the time. All the time. And then you push through it. Like, you push through it because what's the alternative? You're going to leave that idea stuck in your head forever? That sucks. The alternative is you go through life and you had this great idea and nothing came of it because you got tired. And yeah, sometimes you don't go to the party that all your friends are at because the idea is calling to you in that moment. Wait for it, it's a great example of that. I was on my way to my friend's birthday party when that lyric showed up, when death doesn't discriminate showed up in my head. The idea came on the A down. I started writing it down in the train, in La Quinita of the A train. Break dancers are dancing, I have my headphones on. I get out, the whole chorus comes all at once. I write it down, and I suddenly see the shape of the whole song. I was just like, the chorus is Burr, that's who he is. I go into my friend's party. I go, hey, what's up, man? Happy birthday. I gotta go. I get on the L train, and I write the rest of the song on the way back home, from the L to the A back up to 207th Street. You have to do that sometimes. You have to say no to your friends to say yes to your work. Because what are you gonna do? Like, lose that idea because you decided to, like, have a drink with your friends? Like, it's not worth it. Your friend will be there.
You also went to Broadway with Julia Roberts, with Paul Rudd, 3 Days of Rain. That must have been pretty special.
Yeah, it was a do or die moment for me, actually. I think Kitchen Confidential had gotten canceled, you know, and I remember thinking, if this doesn't work, maybe I'm not right for this business. I thought that there are moments in life when you think like, you know what, it kind of does matter if this fails, or you fail in it, and it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through by far, and I remember thinking if I can get through this, it may be as hard, but it's impossible for it to be harder, and it's true. And I've had a lot of hard times since in jobs, you know, when you're like, wow, the pressure's so intense. But I have such a foundation from 3 days of Rain.
I was gonna say, eight shows a week, right?
Not even that. Actually, it was the rehearsal process. Not to do. Once we got on stage, it flew, and thank God. And I thought, oh, this feels right. But there was and I was hard on myself, but it was just, man, it was tough.
See, I'm a seed. I really am. But a seed has to be planted. A seed got to have dirt put on top of it. If you take a seed and throw it on the concrete and walk off, the sun just burn it up. But guess what? Logically, in my mind, it doesn't make sense that to grow something, you should dig a hole, put it down in there, and cover it with dirt. Logically, that don't make no sense to me. But though. See, dirt is necessary for growth and development. Dirt builds character. Dirt gives you the push-through factor. Dirt makes you come with it when you don't feel like coming with it no more. And you get dirt in a lot of different ways. All of y'all that had dirt thrown on you. And dirt ain't always what you want. It's somebody talking about you down on your job. It's somebody accusing you of something that you didn't do. It's somebody telling you you ain't gonna make it. It's somebody sharing information about you that ain't true. Everybody get dirt put on them. But see, when you're getting put under that stress, please know God is always working. Kirk Franklin's song, God is always working, so I smile. Because I know he back there. See, that dirt builds character in you. When they talking about you, it teaches you to withstand it. Then it gives you something to push through. So when you put the seed and you put the dirt on it, if you understand stress, stress really ain't just dirt. Stress, see, they don't call it dirt when they plant it. They call it soil. Because, see, soil has nutrients in it. What the nutrients, when people talking about you, dogging you, lying on you, backbiting, stealing from you, talking about you, they're actually putting nutrients in you. They're building character. You got character now. Now the seed, if they put a camera under the ground, you'd have seen the seed sprout open and start coming through the dirt. Because the dirt is necessary so you can prove yourself. You know, if you don't really want to be, everything you see above ground that blossoms and plants and grows and that's beautiful, it was underground one time. All them potatoes, collard greens, they was underground one time. Them apple trees, they was underground one time. So they had to prove themselves. See, you want to be successful, well then you got to prove yourself. You got to push through the dirt. You got to come up through here. You got to come out. Then you sprout, and then Bishop say, then you become a tree. Next thing you know, you got fruit.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.